Badgers at home in Camp Randall Stadium at night. Tough on any opponent. They've not lost in that situation since 2016. Wonder who that was against. Buckeyes defeat the Badgers 24-10. Let's get to it here at the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. Why? Because of your participation. Let's get to it. Wisconsin, 4th and 3. Stop early in the game on a strip sack of Kyle McCord. So on the very first series of the ball game, Wisconsin creates some havoc and gets the ball back on a third down. Before that, though, Kyle McCord had Marvin Harrison open. They weren't on the same page. Harrison came back for the back shoulder, and McCord missed him throwing the ball downfield. So it forced a 4th and 3, and Ryan Day said, you know what? We're out toward midfield. Let's give it a go. But, again, the strip sack and McCord fumbles, and so Wisconsin takes over. But on the second play for the Badgers, Braylon Allen fighting past the first down marker for extra yardage. But sometimes when you do that, you fight too long. Steele Chambers looked for the opportunity with Ohio State securing the tackle, and he strips it out. Davison Igbinosun is number 1 on the Buckeyes in fumble recoveries. He gets another one. Buckeyes in good shape at the 44. They make the plays that count to put themselves in position to make it 3-0 on the field goal. So Buckeyes go on top on the road. Important to do that. Jordan Hancock forces another fumble from Braylon Allen. Igbinosun with a typical pass interference on Wisconsin's next drive. I tell you, this guy, he's a good defensive back. He's a physical defensive back. And usually when you've got that combination, you know at least in the run game he's going to support and do some good things there. But, man, he is handsy and he is grabby and he holds on and he just puts up a fight. And it's a good thing a lot of the time, but sometimes it gets called. And in this instance, there is no way the ball was catchable, but the PI comes up against Ohio State. 3rd and 7, Tyleik Williams. This guy impresses me more consistently than anybody on the Ohio State defense, meaning it's steady. He's a force against the run in the middle. He collapses that pocket to put pressure on the quarterback, and when he can't, you know what he does? Bats passes back into the quarterback's face, as he did on a key 3rd and 7 right here, with Wisconsin kind of moving the football at that point. They had gotten some momentum going, some rhythm. Tyleik Williams with his 5th batted pass of the season. Chime Dike on the punt return had a excellent run for the Badgers to get them into scoring position. The Buckeyes punt coverage unit took some bad angles on this one, and so he breaks free, but the Ohio State defense stiffens. Locke missed an open receiver on 3rd down. Wisconsin misses the 54-yard field goal. Came into this game hitting on 11 of 12 on field goals, but this was a long one at 54 yards. Julian Fleming had to leave the game. He missed the diving catch. Would have been a tough catch, but still it was right there. McCord lofted it out there, and it was a deep throw that should have been brought in. Landed possibly on a shoulder. That's what it looked like. Maybe just got the air knocked out of him on that one. But then the guy that does go up top and typically hangs onto the football, Marvin Harrison, produced a big play on the about 2 plays later. But Preston Zachman, did you see the interception from the Wisconsin defensive back on that one? Yes, it was a bad decision by Kyle McCord, and his first interception in 204 attempts going all the way back to week 1. But he threw it. He was looking for either Harrison or Carnell Tate. They were in the same area. They called a play in which McCord thought he would be wide open because they faked left, and then he rolled out kind of a mini bootleg type of play. But he was rushed, and there was nobody open, and he tried to force it to, again, it was Tate at the pylon, Harrison to the back corner, and he just fired it, and Zachman made an incredible interception, kept his foot in, and so Wisconsin turned Ohio State away. Travion Henderson, good to see him back in a Buckeyes uniform if you're an Ohio State fan. 162 yards on 24 carries, bottled up many of the times because Wisconsin's got a good rush defense. But when he can hit a seam, break it free, and the Ohio State offensive line playing better football these recent weeks, Also got him involved in the passing game as well. If you saw the Penn State win and saw the big plays by Marvin Harrison, especially late in the game, 2 key plays by Harrison, 1 a touchdown to break that game open. They ran the same thing, the shallow cross, and Marvin Harrison took it into the end zone for the touchdown, 10-0 Buckeyes. But next series for Ohio State, they run into another Wisconsin defensive back, and this one even better than Zachman, being a ball hawk. Ricardo Hallman, are you keeping track of what this guy's doing? He had 4 interceptions in 3 games at one point this season, and man, he baited McCord, played off his man, was playing his zone, was laying back, and just broke on the football and picked off McCord when Ohio State was once again in scoring range. Braden Locke didn't get off to the best start, but he got better and better and better. The final numbers were not impressive, but I was pretty impressed with Braden Locke considering the pressure that he withstood on this night. 18 of 39, had his best drive to date, meaning at our progression in the ballgame here after the McCord interception. Braylon Allen taking a bit of a pounding the Buckeyes as well down the field. And then Wisconsin, this was a key portion of the game because it was 10-0 Buckeyes at this point. Wisconsin gets its first real drive going all the way down the field. Get it down inside the 5-yard line. Then they had a really nice play that they set up. Got the defense moving to the right. They had Skyler Bell all by himself. Hit him for the touchdown. Boom, he just walks it in. But a little bit of a low throw. Skyler Bell caught the ball at the 2-yard line with his knee on the turf. They called it back, rightfully so. Wisconsin could not get it into the end zone, forced a field goal to make it 10-3 at the break. Wisconsin used that momentum, worked on some things, certainly found some things late in the second quarter, and moved that into the third quarter. Locke hit 27 yards to Bryson Green on the first drive of the second half, and a 29-yard run and a touchdown pass to Will Pauling, who had some nice gains on this game. And suddenly, it went from Ohio State at one point dominating this game. The yardage at one point was 210 to 31, and it was only 10-0. The Buckeyes had dominated, but the McCord interceptions did them in at this point. So 7 plays for 75 yards, and boom, we got a brand new ball game at 10. Ohio State responded, though, on offense. 9 plays for 75 yards. Yeah, that guy Marvin Harrison, 16 plays or 16 yards and also a 19-yard touchdown to cap the drive. 6 catches for $123. Marvin Harrison basically making 100-yard games, the usual each and every week. And he is the guy with Emeka Egbuka out. I'm telling you, Kate Stover was not a factor in this game. Ohio State is going to have to find a number 2 receiver. It can't be all Marvin Harrison all the time against, that team. Yeah, that team that they're going to play down near the end of the season. 17-10 Buckeyes at that point. The Ohio State defense, they had a key 3rd and 1 stop on a running play. And also as they exchanged field position, and of course Wisconsin needed to score at this point, there was a key play in which it looked like Wisconsin was going to make this a deeper fourth quarter game than they would because Ohio State's defense forced them deep into their own territory, inside their own 2. Braden Locke had to throw from his own end zone when Ohio State just bottled up the first 2 plays. But man, delivered a throw to Skyler Bell across the middle to get them out of trouble. They move it out to midfield, and we're talking there's 7-8 minutes left in the game. They flip the field, pin Ohio State back, but then the Buckeyes move it down the field. Kyle McCord, more throws to Marvin Harrison, that guy. And then also Travian Henderson gets into the mix. However, Josh Simmons, I don't know if you saw this note on the game, but this is becoming popular and widely known. 24th penalty on Josh Simmons since, I believe, the beginning of the 21 season, maybe the 22 season. Regardless, it's the most in college football during that span. Put the Buckeyes in a hole once they had driven 40 or 50 yards. And then on the 3rd and 8, Wisconsin knew when to bring the blitz. McCord had to throw it out of bounds, and another drive stalled. So Wisconsin at this point staying within range, within 1 score at 17-10. Buckeyes have to punt. Wisconsin in their own end, deep within their own 10-yard line. Third and 9. They throw it down the field. Denzel Burke getting a little handsy, and he actually brushed the face mask. Could have been called PI. Wisconsin had to punt, though, and then this is your ball game. Xavier Johnson for 11. Then Travion Henderson, beautifully blocked play to the house. Again, 162 yards on the ground. He makes it 24-10. That was it. The Ohio State defense shut things down from there, as they did most of the night, outside of one drive, basically. One drive in the first half that led to the field goal, and then the one drive to start the second half. The Ohio State defense strong in this one. Buckeyes moving on to 8-0. They've got Rutgers coming up. Kyle McCord limping badly in the second half. We'll see what the deal is on him. Remember, Devin Brown's out. Ohio State or Rutgers coming up next week. Wisconsin still very much in play in the Western Division. However, it goes from them controlling their own destiny to them almost controlling their own destiny. So Wisconsin needs Iowa to lose now. Iowa's back in control to a certain extent, although Minnesota has the control of the division over Iowa. Bunch of teams. We're going to sort this out this coming week at the Voice of College Football. All the conference races, all the division races, but Wisconsin falls to 3-2. So we've got a glut of 3-2, 4-2 teams in the Big Ten Western Division. Again, the head-to-head goes to Iowa over Wisconsin. But we also have Nebraska and Minnesota in play, and the Badgers still have yet to play those two teams. And Tanner Mordecai could possibly make it back near the end of the season, but I don't necessarily know that he's playing better football, or was, than one Braden Locke. Let's talk Buckeyes. Let's talk Badgers. They're both looking for a championship still. And let's do it right here at the Voice of College Football.